Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, oh my God, yes, the next huge Fischer-Dieskau box on Warner this time. 79 fun-filled leader CDs. Oh, what a jolly time I've had going through this sucker for the past couple of months. I took my time, and I'm glad I did, because he was a phenomenal singer. Let's not kid ourselves. And, you know, he started his life on Warner, then jumped to DG, and then he was sort of for the middle part and most of his career, and then he did a little bit of both. This does not include operas and oratorios and other things like that he did, but oh my, so much of everything else. Unbelievable quantity. Some things I really actually didn't remember that he'd done. I was very surprised. So let's look at it. Here we have all 79 fun-filled CDs. They give you the track list, not a track listing, a contents listing on the back, which was very thoughtful of them. But you get a very slender booklet, which with, of course, you know, keeping with today's tradition, no texts and translations. We do have a list of contents. Look at all those contents. Boy, I've never seen so many contents. Well, it's not like all the contents. Well, most of the contents. Holy cow. So much stuff. Just so much stuff. All right. I'm ready. Actually, we're going to do this in clumps because, you know, there's just no point in spending, you know, years working on this thing, song by song, disc by disc. Here's a big clump of them. They start out in the mono world. And we've got, and a lot of this stuff he did multiple times. I mean, multiple times, like a zillion Winterreises and Schubert song cycles, and it's really kind of unbelievable. So mono, I mean, some of these things are mono, my God, yes. He did a whole disc of Haydn songs in mono with Gerald Moore, and he did them very well, actually. Some of them in English, you know, the English canzonettas. He did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or six of those. And the others were German songs. 7 of them, pardon me. And wow, yeah, very nice. You know, and Warner had him when he was in his best voice, which was when he was young. You know, when he was at his youngest phase, let's put it that way. Because his voice did dry out, and he did become more sort of mannered and barky and woofy as he got older. Not that he ever lost his artistry. He never did. I mean, he was always an intelligent singer. But anyway, so that was kind of cool. And then with the young Daniel Barenboim, there's also a Mozart Lieder recital here, 44 minutes of Mozart Lieder. This is in stereo, this particular one. Then you've got Beethoven songs, volumes 1, volume 2, volume 3, with Hartmut Hall and who else is this? Herta Kluse, or Klust, yes. Beethoven songs, Beethoven folk songs with Yehudi Menuhin, Heinrich Schiff, Hartmut Hall. So that's all fun. See, I'm doing these in groups because I'm not going to make us crazy. So we're up to disc 7. Yay! Beethoven. Lots of Beethoven. You can always assume that he knew what he was doing and does right by these songs. You may prefer other singers. You may prefer other voices. But it's, you know, it's amazing. And if you're going to want this on top of the huge DG box, well, heaven help you. Löwe, ballads, Karl Löwe. He was always dedicated to Karl Löwe. He was a wonderful lieder singer, and his ballads were really beautiful. I mean, they're lovely, lovely songs. They're contemporary with Schubert, and, well, I mean, they were more than contemporary with Schubert because Löwe was, his years were 1796 to 1869. And they're lovely. I mean, the 4 legends here, really, he does 2 of them. Der Weichdorn and Das Wandel auf der Flucht. Das Wunder auf der Flucht. Yeah, it's a wonder and a curse. And oh my goodness, it's so much fun. You know, it's the birth of German romantic song, and it's lovely stuff. Then we have Schubert. We have piles and piles and piles and piles and piles of Schubert. We still have more Schubert? No. Schubert goes from mono, lots of mono, actually, because we have his lieder recitals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with Gerald Moore. the young Gerald Moore. Gerald Moore was always good. You didn't have to worry about him being young or old because he was playing a piano. Then we've got his earliest recordings of Die Schöne Müllerin, 2 of those, oi, 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 and how many Winterreises? No, 1 Winterreise, and a Schwanengesang. And then, the funny thing is, I had friends back when I was like a leader person. I was never a leader person, but like getting into it. And I remember when the early stereos, not the monos, of Winterreise and Schöne Müllerin came out. And of course, everybody was yapping about the Deutsche Grammophon recordings, and they were getting flogged like crazy because there were multiple ones of those. And then this thing showed up at budget price, or very, very inexpensively, I remember. And I had a friend who was like a super leader person and vocal guy, and he said to me, get the early EMIs because he's just in best voice. Some people may say, well, he had more, insight when he was later. But for just beautiful singing, you can't beat these. You can't. I mean, he was at his absolute loveliest, and he was always an insightful singer. There's no doubt about it. So, for some reason, this particular Schubert leader recital with Hartmut Hall live recording is on Erato. You don't know what Warner's doing with all their various classical labels anymore. Then we've got Mendelssohn songs, which are terribly underrated. They're absolutely beautiful and really, really, really lovely stuff, and well worth getting to know. I recommend them highly. Then we've got Heine songs by Schumann, including Liederkreis Opus 24, and then more Liederkreises and Eichendorff songs by Schumann. That takes us up to disc 25. Whoop. More Schumann, except this time with Hartmut Hall live on Erato when he was a lot older. See, he's got gray hair. You don't go for the gray hair. You go for the not gray hair with him, and you're in better shape. Songs by Peter Cornelius. Well, that's interesting. Peter Cornelius, was a list guy. He wrote The Barber of Baghdad and whatnot, and he was hanging out with Raff and all those people. Songs by Brahms. Okay, there's tons and tons of Brahms. Now, he did like the complete Brahms leader. There's a Brahms box of his on Deutsche Grammophon. But we get, Brahms, tons and tons and tons of Brahms with Barenboim, Savalas, Gerald Moore, Die Schöne Magdalene with Sviatoslav Richter. Oh, yes, that's famous. The Deutsche Volkslieder with Elisabeth Schwarzkopf. And boy, were they not people to sing folk songs. Oh my gosh. You're supposed to sing folk songs with the light, rustic, uninflected, well, not totally uninflected, but you know what I mean. Of course, it's Brahms, so they're stylized folk songs, but even so, one could argue that the native or naive simplicity of these songs is not best appreciated or apprehended by these particular vocalists. Grieg Lieder, lovely, absolutely lovely. This is a later disc too, but they're very, very nicely done. Then we've got his Mahler. You've got the fabulous Philharmonia recording of Songs of a Wayfarer with Furtwängler, which is excellent, and some more Brahms songs, Lieder und Gesänge, Opus 32, with Hertha Klust. That's coupled differently. Usually it comes with the Kempe. Remember the Kempe, Kindertotenlieder, which is fabulous, absolutely fabulous, amazing. But we've got, this is interesting. Yes, let's see, Mahler's Kindertotenlieder, there it is, with Kempe, and Mark Lothar, music of loneliness, Opus 67, Notturno, well, that's different, and Fauré's La Bonne Chanson, him singing in French. Yeah, I hope he's singing it. No, he's singing in French. I'm just joking. Then you've got the Barenboim Mahler Lieder disc, all that stuff, which was kind of famous. And the Paul Kletzky Das Lied von der Erde, which is terrific. Absolutely terrific with Murray Dickey. It's a very, very fine Das Lied von der Erde with the Philharmonia. So that's exciting to have. I mean, you need to get the other, 88 CDs if you just want that one, but you can probably find it separately. Then we have, the Descanaben, Wunderhorn, Wissel, and Schwarzkopf. The most irritating, mannered, cutesy poo bit of, it's awful. I used to love it. I was told I had to love it. I mean, and you look at the artists and you've got to love it, right? I mean, they're supposed to be fabulous, and they are in their artful, completely unidiomatic way. But the better you know the songs, the more you begin to understand that that's not the way they're supposed to be sung, which is a pity because Zell is fabulous, and there's a lot of really fine singing on that disc. It just ain't Mahler's Descanaben Wunderhorn. Then we've got, let's see, a Hugo Wolf lieder. Oh, Hugo Wolf. Wolfity, Wolf, Wolf, Wolf. We have the Spanish lieder book and the Murica lieder. Yes, Murica lieder, and the Goethe lieder. And, the Italian songbook. Yes, that's the one with Elizabeth Schwarzkopf. That was one of the first lieder things I actually got. And, it's very good. It's 79-minute CD. They stuffed it all on one disc. It's great. Here, when you've got Schwarzkopf and Fischer-Dieskau, you're dealing with a composer whose text setting and handling of, the relationship between text and accompaniment and all that, it's very, very artful. And so it's wonderful to compare that, quite frankly, with the Mahler. I mean, the songs are mostly very, very brief, and you can do a lot with, word pointing and all of these, things that lieder singers are supposed to do that drive people who like normal singing crazy, but they do it really, really well. It's a beautiful, beautiful selection, and there's a big difference when they are in sync with the composer and when they are not as synced. They're more bathtubed than synced. Then we've got Richard Strauss. Richard Strauss, there are lots of Richard Strauss lieder, of course. We have boatloads of Richard Strauss. Let's see if we can find all that. Yes, the songs of Richard Strauss with Gerald Moore, of course. This is four discs. Yeah, I mean, tremendous, tremendous collection of really neglected songs. Some of them are just gorgeous. I mean, they really are. We have songs of Pfitzner. Two discs of songs of Pfitzner. And actually, Pfitzner was a surprisingly fine lieder composer. He really was. He did some beautiful things, much better than his larger works or his works in larger forms, I think. I've always enjoyed Pfitzner's songs. The orchestral songs are gorgeous. But his other things... Anyway, let's see. With Schoenberg. Oh, yeah, let's do some Schoenberg. We've got lots of Schoenberg with Aribert Riemann. Piano. Yeah, there they are. Remember, Riemann wrote Lear, the King Lear opera for Fischer-Dieskau, which is practically unlistenable. And we've got Berg early songs, more with Riemann, because he was a real second Viennese kind of guy. So those are fun. Ottmar Schock Notturno. That's gorgeous. And Matthäus Nachtlieder with the Cherubini Quartet and Maria Graf. She plays harp in this stuff. This is lovely stuff. The Notturno for voice and string quartet by Schock is magnificent. He was a lovely, lovely vocal music composer. He wrote those long, creepy song cycles about people buried alive and whatnot, or stuff like that. Just charming. Hans Eisler, yeah, disc of that stuff. Cool, with Riemann. And with Riemann, he also did the Michelangelo songs of Shostakovich. And Riemann, I keep saying Riemann, isn't it? It's Riemann. Did 3 poems of Michelangelo also. So, that's kind of interesting and different. Duets. Oh, this is an old classic. Oh, my gosh. With Victoria de Los Angeles. And who else is in here? Let's see. With Gerald Moore, Edward Drolk, violin, and Irmgard Poppen, cello. So you've got duets by Purcell, Haydn, Johann Christian Bach, Beethoven, Schubert, Berlioz, Dvorak, Tchaikovsky, Saint-Saëns, and Fauré. What a terrific disc this is. I always loved this. It was in the Victoria de Los Angeles box. That's where we first encountered it. And then we've got Sings Lieder. Lieder by Schwarz, Schilling, Fortner, Reuter, Blocher, and Riemann. and that's fun. Then we've got live Salzburg recitals, 3 of these. The Brahms recital, the last one, is really quite excellent. It really is. And so the homage to Gerald Moore with Victoria de Los Angeles, Dieskau, and Schwarzkopf. This has appeared in various collections. Janet Baker and Fischer-Dieskau with Daniel Barenboim at the Queen Elizabeth Hall. More duets by Purcell, Schumann, Mendelssohn, Cornelius, and Brahms. So that's nice. Leader of Schumann things. Yes, right. By people of Schumann's day, right? Leader der Schumannianer. Schumannesque, whatever you call it. Robert Franz, Edvard Grieg, Kirchner, Hiller, Jensen, and Anton Rubinstein. You're not going to find a guy who did such an amazing amount of music. North German songs by North German people, including Liszt, Wagner, Berlioz, Nietzsche Lieder. Well, that's different, and those people. And then we've got Lieder der Jahrhundertwende. Yes, from Jahrhundertwende people, turn of the century, Schoenberg, Wetzel, Matthiessen, Pfitzner, Thiessen, Strauss, Reger, Matthiessen, Pfitzner, and Schrecker. Yeah, Schrecker. Aufbruch des 20. Jahrhunderts im Lied. There you go. 20th century, turn of the 20th century in song. Debussy, Mio, Mahler, Schuck, Pfitzner, Hindemith, Reuter, Fortner, Bartok, Blacher. And, these are fun recitals. I'm joking, but they're fun. They really are. This has got some really good stuff in it. What's this thing? Wirkung der Neuer Wiener Schule. Oh, wow, there you go. Well, we know who that is, but he also includes Joseph Matthias Hauer, who we don't know regularly, then Schoenberg and Webern, and well, there's no Berg, but there's Hans-Erich Apostel and Ernst Krenek and Konrad Beck, Paul Dessau, Hans Eisler, Gottfried von Einem, who wrote Der Besuch der alten Dame. Remember that thing? And Melodies of the Belle Epoque. That's how it ends, when he was not so belle anymore. Again, he's in his late years, but it's Gounod, Franck, Sanson, Bizet, Chabrier, Massenet, Foire, Dandy, Chausson, Piernet, and Reynaldo Hahn. Wow. It's a great way to end it, actually, with just a pile of rare and unusual songs. And that, my friends, is 89 CDs of Fischer-Dieskau. Now, like I said, the singing ranges from absolutely superb and effortless to somewhat effortful and leathery, but always with his basic intelligence and musicality intact. And if you don't want the 700-disc DG Big Box, you can get this one if you want. One could argue that although he was famous for his DG comprehensive cycles of things, there's probably a greater percentage of wonderful singing in this box. Maybe. Leader people will always have their preferences, which they will express in no certain terms. But I am happy to have this. I expect to listen to it at least once every 50 or 60 years, which means probably I won't hear it again before I'm dead. But if you're young enough, you may have a chance. So think about it that way. And keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.